Have you ever noticed how certain foods are sold as miraculous, almost untouchable, and therefore end up becoming part of our routine without any questioning? Well, avocados are one of them. After the age of 60, many people believe that eating avocado every day is enough to protect them from high cholesterol, heart problems, and even cognitive decline. It is seen as the green gold of health. But there is one detail that is almost never mentioned: even the most nutritious food can become a silent risk when consumed in the wrong way. Avocados are indeed loaded with good fats that help protect the heart, fiber that balances the gut, and antioxidants that reduce inflammation. They are like nature's treasure. But what if I told you that thousands of people over the age of 60 are putting their health at risk without even realizing it, just because of the way they consume the same fruit? It seems hard to believe, doesn't it? After all, how could something so healthy harm you? Here's the truth: it's not the avocado itself, but the habits surrounding it that can be fatal. Excessive consumption, wrong combinations, inappropriate times, and even the quality of the fruit can turn an ally into a villain. And what's most worrying is that this happens silently. A slight discomfort here, heartburn there, abnormal test results months later. It can all start with choices that seemed harmless. Throughout this video, I will reveal the 6 most dangerous mistakes that many people make without realizing it. Small slips that, when added up, can harm the heart, digestion, liver, and even sleep quality. But at the same time, I will show you how to adjust every detail to turn avocados into a true natural remedy, bringing vitality, energy, and protection for the years to come. So, before you think, "This doesn't apply to me," get ready. You may also be falling into this healthy food trap. The good news is that knowledge sets you free, and from now on, you'll have the clarity to never repeat these mistakes again. If you also believed that avocados were always safe in any form and quantity, leave your like now. This way, more people will discover the truth behind nutrition and can protect their health after 60. When we think of superfoods, avocados are usually at the top of the list. They have gained a reputation as heart protectors, natural anti-inflammatories, and even the secret to aging with vitality. Doctors, nutritionists, and health magazines repeat the benefits: rich in monounsaturated fats, it helps balance cholesterol, full of fiber, it aids digestion, a source of B vitamins and antioxidants, it combats oxidative stress that accelerates aging. It's no wonder that millions of people have come to see avocados as almost a shield against disease. But there is a serious problem with this view: believing that one food alone can guarantee perfect health. It's like relying on an umbrella in the middle of a storm with 100 km/h winds. It helps, but it's not enough. Avocados are valuable, yes, but they are not untouchable. And it is precisely this reputation for being perfect that causes many people to relax and make mistakes that, in the long run, are costly. Eating avocados anyway, in any quantity, and at any time does not guarantee protection. In fact, depending on how they are consumed, they can even have the opposite effect. The human body, especially after age 60, changes a lot. Metabolism slows down, digestion requires more care, and the organs responsible for filtering and processing nutrients, such as the liver, kidneys, and intestines, are no longer as agile. What once seemed like a healthy habit can become a trigger for silent overload. And you may be thinking, "But I've always heard that the more avocado, the better." That's exactly the kind of myth that needs to be debunked. Because science shows that the difference between medicine and poison is almost always in the dose and how it is used. There is no point in choosing a superfood if it is consumed in excess, in bad combinations, or at inappropriate times. This is the key point: avocados are powerful, but they are not magic. Treating a food as a universal savior is falling into a trap that paves the way for cardiovascular disease, digestive problems, and even metabolic disorders. And the scariest thing is that all of this can happen even while you believe you are taking care of your health. Now that you understand the danger behind the myth, we need to talk about the first mistake, perhaps the most common of all, and one that may be happening in your kitchen without you realizing it. And remember, with every detail you discover, you open up the chance to transform avocados from a hidden risk into a true ally. There is a classic phrase in nutrition: the difference between medicine and poison is in the dose. And never has this been truer than when we talk about avocados. After all, if they are rich in good fats, fiber, and antioxidants, why not eat plenty of them every day? That is exactly where the danger lies. After the age of 60, the body no longer processes food as efficiently. Metabolism slows down, the liver works more cautiously, the gallbladder may release less bile, and fat digestion is no longer as agile. This means that excess avocado, instead of protecting, can overload the body. Those who eat half or even a whole avocado daily, believing that the more, the better, are actually saturating the body with a caloric and lipid volume that it can no longer manage as well. And the signs of this overload are often subtle: tiredness after meals, heartburn, a feeling of heaviness in the stomach, abdominal distension. But over time, more serious consequences can arise, such as increased fat in the liver, elevated triglycerides, or even worsening cholesterol and some metabolic profiles. The irony is that all this happens while the person believes they are taking care of their heart. In addition, there is another detail that few people realize: avocados are very caloric. One medium avocado can exceed 300 calories. If we add this to the consumption of other sources of fat during the day, the result is a silent accumulation of energy that, if not expended, turns into extra weight. And after the age of 60, every extra pound means extra strain on the joints, heart, and circulation. It's like taking double the dose of a medicine hoping to heal faster, but the effect is the opposite. Avocados are indeed a natural remedy, but they need to be taken in the right dose. Ideally, they should be consumed in small portions, a few times a week, varying with other foods rich in good fats, such as olive oil, nuts, and seeds. Variety protects, overindulgence makes you sick. What seems like a healthy attitude, eating plenty of something considered good, can become the first step toward silent inflammation. And inflammation is the root of many problems that mainly affect those over 60: heart disease, diabetes, joint degeneration. But excess is not the only mistake. There is something even more common and dangerous: the way avocados are combined at the table. Often, the problem is not what you choose to eat, but what you mix it with. Have you noticed how, in everyday life, avocados rarely appear alone? They are often accompanied by ingredients that seem innocent but transform this powerful fruit into a real bomb for the body. The mistake is not only in the quantity but in what we put alongside them.
The most classic example is avocado blended with sugar. For many, it is a childhood tradition. Mash the pulp, add a few spoonfuls of sugar, and turn it into a creamy dessert. The taste is irresistible, but the impact on a body, especially after age 60, is devastating. The fat plus sugar combo generates a glycemic spike followed by accelerated fat storage, which increases insulin resistance and raises the risk of type 2 diabetes. Another disguised villain is combinations with condensed milk, cream, or even ice cream. These mixtures further increase the saturated fat and refined sugar content. The result? Increased systemic inflammation, liver overload, and elevated triglycerides. Worse still, consumers believe they are eating something healthy because of the avocado, when in fact they are ingesting one of the worst nutritional cocktails possible. And it doesn't stop there. In some breakfasts, avocado is served alongside ultra-processed breads, margarine, or cold cuts. This combination of refined carbohydrates, artificial fats, and preservatives creates fertile ground for chronic inflammation. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. The benefits of avocado simply cannot neutralize the damage. It's worth remembering that the wrong combination doesn't have to be excessive to have an impact. Even small amounts, when repeated every day, accumulate like tiny sparks that, over time, become a silent fire in your health. And anyone over 60 knows, the body does not forgive frequent carelessness. The smartest path is to reverse this logic. Avocado should not be used to compensate for bad foods. On the contrary, it should be combined with ingredients that enhance its protective effects: lemon, extra virgin olive oil, tomatoes, green leaves. These partnerships increase the absorption of antioxidants, protect blood vessels, and facilitate digestion. In the end, the right question is not, what do you eat, but what do you mix it with? Because that choice can turn the same food into a shield or a threat. And if even the combination can be treacherous, imagine when your own body starts to react against what you believe to be your greatest ally. Yes, this happens, and it's more common than it seems. Not all foods are good for everyone. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in modern nutrition, believing that if a food is healthy in general, then it will be healthy for everyone, in all circumstances. Avocados are nutritious, yes, but they can also cause unexpected reactions in more sensitive organisms, and this is a detail that many ignore. Over the years, the body changes the way it deals with certain compounds. The intestinal mucosa becomes more delicate, digestion tends to be slower, and the immune system reacts differently to certain foods. The result is that intolerances or allergies can appear in adulthood, even in people who have never had problems before. In the case of avocados, the presence of substances such as chitinase can cause adverse reactions in predisposed individuals. What begins as mild discomfort, gas, abdominal bloating, poor digestion, can progress to more serious symptoms such as nausea, stomach pain, and even skin manifestations such as itching and rashes. In some cases, frequent consumption can even aggravate existing inflammation in the digestive tract. Another little discussed point is the so-called latex fruit syndrome. People who are sensitive to natural latex, found in gloves and some hospital materials, often develop cross-reactions when consuming foods such as bananas, kiwis, and, yes, avocados. The body confuses the proteins and triggers allergic responses. Often, people only discover the connection after suffering repeated episodes of unexplained discomfort. Ignoring these signs can lead to chronic problems. And here's an important truth: the body always speaks. When something doesn't sit well, when it causes bloating, reflux, or even unusual drowsiness, it's not fussiness, it's a warning. And after the age of 60, these warnings need to be listened to with extra attention, because any repeated inflammation can accelerate the wear and tear of organs and systems. The good news is that conscious observation solves most of the problem. When you notice discomfort, simply reduce the frequency or amount consumed, varying with other sources of good fats, such as nuts or seeds. And in cases of persistent reaction, seeking medical evaluation is essential to avoid complications. But if the mistake of ignoring sensitivity can have unpleasant consequences, there is another even more dangerous one: believing that avocado alone is enough to meet all the body's needs. This trap, although it seems logical, can lead to silent deficiencies. When a food gains fame as a superfood, many people make a silent mistake. They start using it as if it were a universal substitute, present in every meal, almost as if it were capable of meeting all the body's needs on its own. And avocados, precisely because of their reputation, have fallen into this trap. It is common to hear phrases such as, "I replaced butter with avocado, and now I only eat it," or "I don't need other foods rich in good fat because I already have avocado every day." This blind confidence creates a serious problem: dietary monotony. When the body always receives the same nutrients, even if they are good, it ends up lacking others that are just as important. Avocados are an excellent source of monounsaturated fats, but they do not provide, for example, significant amounts of essential omega-3 fatty acids, which are fundamental for the brain and for controlling inflammation. It also does not replace the diversity of antioxidants found in red fruits, nor the calcium present in dark leafy vegetables. By betting everything on avocados, you end up leaving gaps that, in the long run, can turn into silent deficiencies. In addition, the constant repetition of a single food increases the risk of developing intolerance. When exposed to the same compounds over and over, the body can react negatively over time. It's like always using the same key to open different doors. At some point, it starts to wear down the lock. After age 60, this dietary diversity becomes even more crucial. The body needs variety to maintain high immunity, protect bones and muscles, balance hormones, and ensure energy. Making avocado the sole protagonist not only limits this richness, but also conveys a false sense of security, the idea that I'm already doing enough. The truth is that health is not built on a single food, but on a colorful mosaic of smart choices. Avocado is a valuable piece of that puzzle, but it cannot be the entire board. And if monotony is already dangerous, imagine when the issue involves something even more delicate: the time at which food is consumed. Because, yes, even the time you eat avocado can determine whether it will be a remedy or a saboteur of your well-being. Have you ever heard the phrase, "It's not just what you eat, but when you eat"? Well, it applies perfectly to avocados. The same fruit that can be an ally to your health during the day can become a silent saboteur at night. After the age of 60, digestion naturally slows down. The stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, the gallbladder releases less bile, and intestinal transit tends to lose efficiency. This means that fattier foods, such as avocados, remain in the stomach longer.
If consumed at night, especially just before bedtime, the result can be immediate discomfort, reflux, heartburn, bloating, and even difficulty falling asleep. Many people believe they are choosing a light nighttime snack when they prepare an avocado cream before bed. But in practice, the body interprets it differently. Instead of resting, it needs to work to digest that fat. Sleep quality suffers, cell regeneration is impaired, and over time, signs such as morning fatigue, muscle pain, and even memory impairment appear. In addition, there is one detail that few people realize: the release of hormones during the night, such as melatonin, can be impacted by difficult digestion. When the body needs to direct energy to break down fatty foods, the natural repair process of deep sleep is interrupted. It's like trying to fix a house during an earthquake. It just doesn't work. This doesn't mean you need to ban avocados from your meals. It just means that timing matters. In the morning or at lunch, avocados are processed more efficiently, provide stable energy, and even help in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K. At night, however, the body craves lightness, vegetable soups, soothing teas, less fatty fruits. In other words, the mistake is not only in what you put on your plate, but when you put it there. Adjusting this can transform your nights of sleep and, consequently, your vitality during the day. Have you ever experienced heartburn, heaviness in your stomach, or even insomnia after eating avocado at night? Tell us about your experience in the comments. Your story can help many other people realize that they are not alone in this problem. But if timing is already a decisive factor, there is something even more worrying: the quality of the avocado you take home. Because not all fruit is as pure as it seems at first glance. Not all avocados are the same. Although, at first glance, they all look natural, the reality is that the quality and origin of this fruit can determine whether it will be an ally or a silent risk to your health. And this is a detail that most people simply ignore. Most of the avocados that arrive at markets and supermarkets undergo intensive cultivation processes. This means the use of pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and, in some cases, improper storage for long periods before reaching your table. For those over 60, this accumulation of toxic residues represents an extra burden on organs that are already working at their limit, such as the liver and kidneys. Over time, these substances can increase inflammation, impair the body's natural detoxification, and even accelerate degenerative processes. Another critical point is storage. Avocados transported over long distances are often treated with substances to slow down ripening. When consumed, these chemical compounds, added to the fruit's natural fats, can trigger inflammatory reactions. And since the body of an elderly person does not have the same ability to metabolize toxins as it did in youth, the impact is even greater. In addition, how they are stored at home also has an influence. Storing avocados in plastic containers, for example, can promote contamination by fungi, which release dangerous mycotoxins. Even small amounts, repeated over time, can cause digestive discomfort, a drop in immunity, and even greater vulnerability to infections. The good news is that the solution lies in simple choices. Whenever possible, choose organic avocados, bought at local markets or from trusted producers. Wash the skin before cutting to prevent external residues from contaminating the pulp. And if you notice dark spots or strange odors, don't hesitate to throw it away. Your health is worth more than the price of a piece of fruit. It's amazing how seemingly trivial details, the origin, the way it is stored, paying attention to the appearance of the food, can completely change the effect it will have on your body. Because, ultimately, it's not just about eating avocados, but about choosing what really nourishes and protects you. And if even quality and origin can turn an ally into a threat, the question arises, after all, how can we enjoy this food in a safe, balanced, and truly beneficial way? The answer lies in the simplest and most powerful secret of all: balance. After so many warnings, it may seem that avocados are a villain in disguise. But the truth is just the opposite. They remain one of the most valuable foods that nature offers. The difference is in how you choose to consume them. Balance is the word that separates medicine from poison. The human body was made to live in harmony with the diversity of foods. When you vary your sources of nutrients, you give your body everything it needs to regenerate, protect itself, and function at its best. Avocados are an important part of this balance, but they cannot occupy the entire board. Used in the right amount, they provide stable energy, support the heart, aid in the absorption of antioxidants, and provide satiety without overloading. Science shows that moderate portions, such as 2 to 3 medium slices, a few times a week, can improve your lipid profile, reduce inflammation, and even promote longevity. The secret is not to overdo it. but to integrate avocados into a varied menu. It is the intelligent combination of colors, textures, and flavors that creates an internal environment resistant to disease. And this is where an essential point comes in: balance is not just about quantity. It is also about quality and combination. A fresh avocado, ripe to perfection, seasoned with lemon and herbs, becomes a protective shield. The same avocado mixed with sugar or consumed in excess can be a trigger for problems. The balance tips in the direction you choose. After 60, this awareness makes all the difference. The body needs nutrients, but also lightness. It needs energy, but without accumulation. It needs good fats, but in doses that it can process efficiently. And avocados, when used in a balanced way, fulfill all these roles without opening the door to risks. What many people don't know is that there are practical and simple strategies for consuming this fruit in the smartest way possible, maximizing its benefits and eliminating the pitfalls. Adjustments that fit into your daily life and turn every meal into an act of prevention. Now that you understand the risks and the importance of balance, it's time to put that knowledge into practice. After all, it's not enough to just know that avocados can be good or bad. You need to learn how to enjoy them in the best way possible, without falling into the traps that so many people do. The first strategy is simple: pay attention to portion size. For most people over 60, 2 to 3 medium slices of avocado a few times a week are enough. This provides good fats in the right amount, without overloading the liver and intestines. Think of avocados as a nutritious condiment, not as the main dish. The second tip is to make smart combinations. When consumed with foods rich in antioxidants, avocados enhance nutrient absorption. A classic example is combining it with tomatoes and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Together, they increase the absorption of lycopene, which protects the heart and prostate. Another valuable combination is with green leaves and lemon, which add fiber, vitamin C, and alkalinity to the dish. It is in this type of combination that avocado reveals its full potential. As for the time of day, it is best to include it in breakfast or lunch. In the morning, it provides stable energy and prolongs satiety. At lunch, it improves the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins present in vegetables. Avoid consumption at night, especially before bedtime, so as not to compromise digestion and sleep. Another key recommendation: vary your sources of good fats. Alternate avocado with nuts, chestnuts, chia seeds, flaxseed, and olive oil. This diversity ensures a complete fatty acid profile, preventing inflammation and keeping the brain active. And never forget the quality of the fruit. Whenever possible, choose avocados from a reliable source or organic ones. Wash the skin thoroughly before cutting, so as not to contaminate the pulp with residues. Store in glass or ceramic containers, avoiding plastics that can release toxins. Finally, here's a little-known extra tip: dripping a few drops of lemon juice on the avocado not only preserves its color and flavor, but also adds vitamin C, which improves iron absorption and strengthens the immune system. See how small details make all the difference? It's not about radically changing your diet, but about making simple adjustments that multiply the benefits and eliminate the risks. And the most interesting thing is that all of this is already backed by science. Recent research shows that proper consumption of avocados not only supports the heart, but also improves cognition, reduces inflammatory markers, and strengthens the body's natural defenses. But to better understand these effects, we need to take a closer look at what the studies reveal. Because it is precisely in science that we find the certainty to separate myth from truth. Much of what we have talked about so far may sound like common sense, but what really gives weight to our choices is science. Serious research shows how avocados, when consumed correctly, can be a real protector of the body, especially after the age of 60. Studies published in scientific nutrition journals have already proven that moderate consumption of avocados is linked to an improvement in lipid profile. In other words, it helps increase good cholesterol, HDL, and reduce bad cholesterol, LDL. This is crucial because, with aging, blood vessels tend to become stiffer and prone to the accumulation of fatty plaques. This simple dietary adjustment can reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes, which are still the leading causes of death in the elderly. Another line of research highlights the power of avocados in reducing inflammatory markers in the blood. Chronic inflammation is like a low flame that burns inside without causing immediate pain, but accelerates the aging of tissues, joints, and even neurons. And here's the detail: small portions of avocado, included in a balanced diet, can extinguish part of that flame and prolong vitality. And it's not just the heart that benefits. Researchers have also observed that antioxidants present in avocados, such as lutein, help protect the eyes against macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss in the elderly. In addition, there is evidence that frequent but moderate consumption is related to better cognitive performance, sharper memory, and clearer thinking. Another interesting point, when avocados are consumed together with vegetables rich in carotenoids, such as carrots, pumpkin, and tomatoes, the absorption of these nutrients can be up to 4 times higher. This means that avocados act as a facilitator for the body to better enjoy the benefits of other foods. But note, in none of these studies do scientists recommend overdoing it. They always talk about controlled portions, such as half a medium avocado a few times a week. This reinforces what we have already seen: balance is the key. And here is the most powerful message from science: there is no such thing as a miracle food in isolation. Prevention and longevity are built on small daily choices that, when added together, create a natural protection against disease. Avocados are just one of the cogs in this machine called health. Now that you understand how science confirms the power of conscious consumption, maybe it's time to think about who you know who may still be making these mistakes without knowing it. After all, sharing knowledge is also a form of prevention. If you know someone who loves avocados but may be consuming them incorrectly, share this video now. A simple gesture on your part can prevent serious problems in someone else's life. And to conclude this journey, we need to recap the 6 mistakes and leave a final message of transformation. Because what you do with what you've learned today can completely change your future health. We've come this far by unraveling one of the greatest paradoxes of food: how a food as celebrated as avocado can become a risk when used in the wrong way. And now, with clarity, you already know the 6 deadly mistakes that need to be avoided after 60. Number 1, excess disguised as health, which overloads the liver and heart and increases inflammation. Number 2, combinations with invisible villains, such as sugar, condensed milk, and ultra-processed foods, which negate its benefits. Number 3, the mistake of ignoring individual sensitivity, neglecting signs of intolerance or allergy. Number 4, the trap of relying on avocado as the only substitute, leaving dangerous nutritional gaps. Number 5, the habit of eating at the wrong time, impairing sleep, digestion, and vitality. And finally, disregarding quality and origin, allowing toxins and contaminants to enter the body. These mistakes may seem small, but together they can silently sabotage your health. The good news is that by identifying each of them, you gain power. Because now you know that avocados, when consumed in balance, with awareness and variety, are not the enemy, but rather an ally. The secret to aging with energy is not in a single food, but in how you build your plate every day. Each conscious choice is a brick in the construction of a long life, with more mental clarity, mobility, joy, and freedom. So, the next time you look at an avocado at the market or in your kitchen, remember, it's not just about eating, it's about choosing wisely. It's about turning a habit into a tool for longevity. It's about deciding that your body deserves to be treated with respect, attention, and intelligence. And if this message made sense to you, if it opened your eyes to details that no one had ever explained, here's an invitation: subscribe to the channel. This will give you access to new content that reveals how small adjustments can prevent disease, reverse wear and tear, and restore vitality after 60. Take the opportunity to enjoy this video and share it with your loved ones. Because knowledge only has value when it transforms lives. And you can be the link in this transformation for someone who has not yet realized the risks hidden in seemingly harmless habits. Your journey to longevity doesn't start tomorrow, it started today. And every choice you make from now on can be the bridge to a lighter, healthier, and happier future. Take care of yourself, value every detail, and never forget, the real medicine is in what you put on your plate every day.